Hey everyone, I know this is off of my normal beaten path and everything, but I wanted to show you this and give you an update. Uh, I went in for cataract surgery months ago, and the first surgery I had, you know, a black eye and everything, but no real problems. And they went in to do the second one, and I stopped breathing. And I woke up to 3 doctors and 6 nurses yelling at me to breathe. And they were asking me if I'd ever had any breathing problems before, and I said no. Um, so anyway, bring it up to date. I The last time I went in for my physical, I told my uh, doctor, I said, "Yeah, did you read about what I had or what happened to me when I had the cataract surgery?" And she says, "No, what?" And I said, "I stopped breathing on the second one, and then on the third one though, because they had to do it, they had to uh, finish it. On the third one, I went back, and the anesthesiologist knew what was going on, and this was This was the first anesthesiologist. See, the second time gave me another anesthesiologist, and that's the one I quit breathing on. And the third one, they got the first anesthesiologist back, and he knew what was going on, and he knew that I was telling the truth. I have anesthesia awareness. I woke up during the first one, and it looked like geometric figures in my eye because they had broken up the cataracts but not sucked it out yet. And I remember the doctor saying, "Don't move." And the anesthesiologist put me back under. And so anyway, um, then like I say, the second, and I told him I was going to, when I woke up, that I was going to be deathly ill. And sure enough, when I woke up, I was ill. I was sick. And so that was the first anesthesiologist. And then the second one is the one that uh, I quit breathing on. And I'd never had those problems at all. And so anyway, then the third one was kind of interesting because that doctor says, "I'm going to give you something before we take you in for surgery." And he says it'll keep you from getting sick and everything else. And he says, and we're going to use some different meds and all this. And he says, "You're going to be okay." And the third one, I woke up like nothing had happened. But yeah, it was, and I couldn't believe, after the first one, it's kind of interesting because after the first one, um, I'd gone back in for the week checkup, like a week later, and I'm sitting there winking my eye, and this receptionist is looking at me. And I says, "Don't think I'm winking at you." I says, "I'm looking at the," uh, they had a calendar with writing on it in a room behind the receptionist, and I was seeing that, which I couldn't. I was closing one eye, and then I couldn't, and I could, if I closed the bad eye that hadn't had the surgery yet, I couldn't see anything. Or if I closed the bad eye, I could. If I closed the bad eye, I could see everything. And but then if I opened, closed the good eye, everything looked like I was looking through a green bottle. That's exactly what it reminded me of. So anyway, getting up to date, when I told my doctor that I'd stopped breathing, and she looked up and saw where I did quit breathing, says, "Let's get you in for a sleep test." And I says, "Okay," not thinking anything of it. And so they scheduled me for a sleep test, and I had all these gadgets on me here, and this was here at my apartment, and um, and so after that was done, and I went and turned all the equipment in afterwards, I saw uh, respiratory therapist, and she's the one. Um, she says, without even looking at your records and everything, she says, you have sleep apnea. And I'm like, what's that? I'd never even heard of it. And here I was working in the medical field for years. I just never heard it, or I didn't pay attention to it or anything. And she says, I guarantee you have it. And then when she looked at my records, she says, yep. And so I was stopping breathing 29 to 229 times a night. That's a lot, but not really. I guess they call that moderate. I don't know, but that's a lot when you stop breathing. And if you go online and look up these, they've got these things where they do autopsies and tell what happened to someone, why they died, and so forth. And I was really surprised there was a lot of people who died from sleep apnea, because what happens is your heart stops, or your breathing stops, and your brain all of a sudden is saying, I'm not getting anything, breathe, breathe, breathe. And, it actually shocks your heart, and it's not good for your heart. And a lot of people actually have heart attacks due to this. And I found out that a lot of military people have it. It can be caused from stress, from hyper awareness, and all kinds of stuff. And I didn't even know this, literally. And so they put me on a thing called a bongo first, and it had 2 tubes sticking out of my nose. But I'm a scuba diver, and so I rarely breathe in and out of my nose. It's mainly I breathe in through my mouth, and if I'm gonna blow out of my nose, I blow out of it. But it's rare that I take a breath through my nose. And I had a girl over here who was joking at first, because here I am with these tubes sticking out of my nose, fixing to go to sleep, and she witnessed me waking up. She witnessed me stop. I stopped breathing, and then I woke up flailing my hands and threw that thing across the room. And because it was an annoyance. It wasn't that I wasn't breathing out of it. It's just an annoyance. So I told him, I says, that's not working. And so all of a sudden they gave me a call and said, yeah, we're going to put you on a CPAP machine. And I was like, okay. And they says it came in. So they scheduled me, and I went down there just last week. And the lady talked to me about it, told me what it does. It actually blows air into your mouth and nose. And I thought, that's going to be something like sticking your head out a window while you're driving, and, but it's giving you positive air, and it helps with sleep apnea. So I'm like, okay, because I don't want to die from sleep apnea. So they sent me this, and it's the latest and greatest from RESMED, and it's actually easy to operate, and even when it's on, it's quiet, literally. I can watch TV with it on, and this is the whole setup here. This is your distilled water tank, so that you can it'll humidify the water. And you fill it up and let it pour all the way over into your carpet. But I'm about ready to rip this carpet up anyway because it's 20-something years old, and the padding, it has none. It does, but it doesn't. It's rotted or coming apart. Let me grab another paper towel if I can do with this towel. Here we go. One thing about cooking and being a chef and stuff, you always got towels everywhere. Okay, so you just saw me. They ask that you actually dump the water each day and add new water. Let me see if I can show you what this sounds like, maybe. Now I know you're hearing that, right? That sounds like a lot, huh? But I'm going to put it over my nose, over my mouth and nose, and let y'all hear what it sounds like. Can you hear it? Anyway, that's what it sounds like. And at the end of the day, what you can do is see hours used, 1 minute. But I'll go through that again tonight. Okay. She's got it. The respiratory therapist has mine set for ramp time is auto, because it'll start out at like 5 and then go higher as it notices you're asleep, and if you stop breathing. Climate control, I've got it set to manual because I had it set for or she had it set for auto, and I had to reduce it because I was just waking up with, I don't know, but anyway, you can see how you can set this tube temperature to heat up, and it's set at 80 degrees. Humidity level, I've got it set for 2. I think she had it set for 5. And mask setting, full face mask. And then my sleep view, you can hit usage, which is telling me right here, and I can actually check my mask, and it gives you more options: warm up, mask fit, connectability. It transmits all this information to the VA, and on top of that, it will tell, well, it'll show, it's pretty interesting and it's cool, I think, because now see, I just did that and I only got a score of a 30. That's just because it was only gone for 1 minute. But I go to the 14th, which is yesterday, I got 100. And I'm having 1 event per hour. So that's pretty cool. Now, I can also, it will transmit it to, see if I kill this light, if y'all can see it better. it'll transmit that information to my computer too, so I can sign on and look at it on my computer, and I can actually tell. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. But if I go to Wednesday, I only got a 96. It tells what equipment I've got. And if I go to Tuesday, I got a 99, which was good. And I only had 0.9 events per hour. And then Monday, 98, 3.2 events per hour. I don't know how they're keeping track of this, but they are. And then Sunday, 96, 2.6 events per hour. I think what it's doing, and then Saturday, 68 at 2.4 events per hour. I think what it's actually doing is Friday's 89, 2.3. It's seeing if it's doing you any good and getting better, if that makes any sense. And like this was last night at 100, and I had 1 event per hour. And if you click over here, you can go to a graph and see your events. And it will tell them if your mask is on or off. And it'll tell your mask seal. And as you can see over here on one night, I think it was the 10th, I lost my mask. I did. I had covers over me, and somehow or another the mask came off and got lost in the covers. And so that showed up here, and so I was like, wow, how about that? I was surprised. And it shows my usage hours. And one thing I didn't mention is the mask. It clips on here. I don't know if you can see that, but it clips on just like that. There we go. And then it goes over your head. If I can get it untangled. It goes over your head, and then you got another clip on the other side, which is right here. And this is nice and easy, not like when you're flying in a jet or anything. It's not stiff. I mean, it's like it's better than most scuba masks that you have. I'm not joking. And I've had a lot of scuba masks. Even the snorkel, the bite on it, it's a lot easier, and it's a really soft, I guess a silicone type thing. So anyway, if you get put on one of these, don't be afraid. I think actually when you start seeing results, you're going to like it, because you know that you're not going to wake up dead from not having a heart attack, because it is shocking. Your brain sends out something, a signal saying, hey, he's not breathing. And then all of a sudden you're like, and that's not good for your heart. And so it can tear down your heart. So anyway, I wanted to show y'all that, and I know it's not my norm, but I thought it was interesting, and I'm very pleased with this RESMED system. It's RESMED 11. It's the latest and greatest and newest from what I understand. And you can order different masks and things like that. And I think, yeah, they went up on you. They request that you use distilled water. That way you don't get a scale, and they say don't even use filtered water, use distilled water. So I'm going to buy a distiller because that's what the respiratory therapist suggested. And, they're only like $60 or so. But I went up there yesterday to get a gallon of distilled water, and the first time I got it was a week before, and it was $1.94. And when I went up there yesterday, it was $2.05. So yeah, it went up. And like she said, that if I get a distiller, it'll pay for itself in no time. And yeah, if you think about that, I've gone through in those days that I've had it over a half a gallon. And I went up to buy another gallon just to be safe. But in those days, a couple, I did not dump the tank. Like today, that was a no-no. I should have dumped it before adding new water, but I wanted to show y'all and try to keep this down to a minimum kind of. But yeah, they want you to dump the tank every day and wipe it out and clean the mask out and everything else. And I did sneeze in it one night. Oh my gosh, that was different. But yeah, I cleaned that out. But one night, like I say, I lost the mask because I don't think I showed you. Did I? Maybe I did. It just actually pops on. And so it looks like without being on. And it goes into this part and just snaps right on. And like I said, one night it was, I guess it was last, whatever, Wednesday or Saturday. It was tangled up in some blankets, and I lost it in the middle of the night. So it can tell if you're using it or if you're off of it. If you get up to go to the bathroom and so forth, it can tell that, which I think is pretty interesting. But you don't have to move the little table and everything. I mean, I've got this little table that I got for like, I think it was $30 from Walmart or something, and it comes with a power pack, which I have taped down, as you can see back there. And it comes with a nice case too. And you're supposed to once a week, which I'll be doing this, I think tomorrow will be my week, is to change out filters. And your filters are right back here. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's the filter right there. Just a little thin piece of like filter. And like filter paper, it's kind of rough. And your hose clips on like this. That way it can transmit and or keep track of what you're doing. And sorry about that. And it's got like an SSD card right here. It's like a chip. And then the bag it came in is really nice as well. So, and these things are not cheap. So if you're going to get one, I would hope that you have some kind of insurance. The VA paid for mine, but you know, it's well worth it. I'd never paid attention. I knew that I'd heard sleep apnea, but I didn't know anybody had it or anything like that. So didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it when I was in nursing, and now I'm out and I'm like, I've got it. What you talking about? So yeah, I'm feeling better already, and believe it or not, if I go to bed at say 11:30 and at midnight I'm ready to go to sleep, and I turn the CPAP on and everything at midnight, and I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up well rested at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm serious. It makes you feel that good. So anyway, if y'all got something out of this or enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to come up with next. And if you're in a warm place, go swimming. If you're in a cold place, find a warm place to go swimming. If you can't find that, snuggle up with someone. Y'all stay safe, and I love you. Have a good one. Bye.